I can't tell you how many times God has come through for me in all my years upon this earth, but I can say with certainty that he has never failed me. There is an overwhelming proof of evidence that convicts me that God is more than real. Despite the confrontations inside of my own personal struggles in life and the tragedies I have seen take place in the lives of others, my faith and belief in God are unbothered. I know that we are not facing a state of emergency, but we are in a crisis that demands immediate attention and action. We can't afford to wait for outsiders to become disgusted with our problems. We should be beyond discomfort and disgust and do anything and everything to rectify these conditions that confront us daily. The plight of our community lies in a spiritual poverty, geared to destroy not only our sanity, but us as a people. There is a savage named self-hatred that is totally responsible for the compulsion, oppression, anger, senseless violence, crippling addiction, and war within our suffering community. It is much easier to say, stop the killing, than to take the actions vital to fixing the problems that pimp our peace. One individual cannot be responsible for curing these social ills, but it is imperative that there is a collective effort made by the body and people in the village. Flashback. There I was in my life, and I didn't know if I would make it to the next day. The culture of my environment constantly kept me connected to the presence of death. I've lost so many friends and associates in my short life that if I took all the obituaries from their deaths and glued them to the walls, I could wallpaper an average sized room. It wasn't impossible to see a short life of myself because of the crippling habits and the weak value system that I embrace with so much passion. Flashback. There I was, dangling on nothingness, feeling proud to be chasing an illusion, breathing in defeat like it was refreshing to my soul, unbothered by underachieving. I had brainwashed my own mind to embrace the poison of self-hatred to the point I felt justified in being self-destructive. My values were commonly attached to the culture of my environment. The level of my hope was low as my self-esteem. So for so long, I didn't think or feel I could ever do better. So I rebelled in the same way. I hated structure and authority and took pride in being reckless. I was responsible for my own suffering. My perception is what created the stress and tension that caused me to be frustrated and easily agitated. I hated my life, though I pretended to enjoy every part of it. The mask I wore concealed my heart and the demons I carried around inside of me. I didn't understand or respect how sick I was, but no hospital could have helped me. Flashback. I did 11 flat years in jail. It wasn't no easy task, but it wasn't the hardest thing I ever done. Not being institutionalized, but being able to adjust to any type of surrounding. That's what allowed me to be there and not lose my mind. But then just being in a cage, you know, the punishment of being incarcerated is the loss of intimacy, the feeling to exist to the outside world, and the isolation. But even inside of the dysfunction of the prison's norm, I was able to do something abnormal. and that was to make change seem like a thing to do, to create a transformation up under circumstances that battered against you. And that's where the behavior modification came from the renewal of my mind and my spirit. I'm sitting outside and I was just thinking to myself, like, in the society that we live in, men should have a greater support system. And I'm not talking about the significant other in their life or their family. I'm saying outside of that, there should be a structure of support by other healthy men. And we should hold each other accountable. We should be able to pour into each other enthusiasm, love, respect, unity, belief, confidence. We should be able to offer that to each other. And because we are not at that place, and majority are not seeking that as a resolution to greater life, not just for self but to all, we have the senseless violence and homicides in every inner city. We are murdering ourselves instead of loving ourselves. We are chasing death instead of pursuing life. Stand up, brother. Go higher, brother. Think deeper, brother. Push, 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 brother. Fix your crown, king. Some people are stuck because they refuse to break the chains in their minds they use to validate the dysfunction they are enslaved to. Taking back ownership of your destiny is vital to overcoming the trap set by self and others. You can't ignore the fact that you are greater than what you settle for. Despite what others have told you and what you have believed about yourself, you must bring your self-esteem to the next level. How you feel about yourself determines what you settle for. Identification brings liberation. You can only address what you see, so getting free requires a certain level of honesty higher than what you have been functioning inside. Collapsing your anchors. We must remove all mental, emotional, spiritual, social, and physical anchors that keep us stuck in one place. You have to be passionately committed. Your interests, value, faith, and determination has to be deeply invested in overcoming any obstacle in sight. The winner in you. For every time you've been knocked down, I can count a time that you've got back up. No situation is permanent unless you get comfortable there. Find your purpose and bless the world with it. There's no finish line. Growth has no limitations. Once you achieve one goal, set another one a little higher to continuously challenge yourself. Complacency destroys success. Be encouraged.